Again, I have a relationship with both of my children. Um, that is just, it's something that I wouldn't trade for the world. Um, the relationship with my family has been renewed and um, repaired and enhanced. Uh, my parents wouldn't have, they wouldn't have pissed on my shoes if they were on fire um, a little over 9 years ago. But today, I can call them for anything: emotional support, spiritual support, just to laugh, um, to share something funny with them, which is never something I was able to do. I just recently had them out here in New York. They live in California now. I recently had them here in New York, for the holidays to stay at my home with my partner and their grandson, which was just a beautiful, beautiful thing. So I guess peace of mind.
Since you've been sober, was there ever a time that you questioned your ability to remain sober, or when can you think of any time where your sobriety has really been tested, like the hardest part of being sober since you've been sober, and how you got through it?
Yeah, there've been a couple. Most of them, ironically enough, have to do with my past catching up with me. I think a lot of people get clean and they get sober and they think, well, I'm doing all these good things now. Nothing from my past everything has been negated. Like it's
Clean
just
slate.
yeah, exactly, clean slate. And I think in a lot of ways, recovery works that way. Miraculously, people get clean and all of a sudden people who wanted their heads on a platter all of a sudden feel like, well, okay, this guy had a problem and he's doing something about it, and we'll cut him some compassion. The New York State Unified Court System is not that way. um, so, I did some things while I was using involving my oldest son that ended up with me violating some court orders that had been put in place. I kind of thought that stuff had gone away. My ex, however, did not.
Remembered it.
She continued to remember it. And so while I was in my second year of school, 3 weeks before graduation, in front of my soon-to-be supervisor at St. Joseph's Addiction Treatment Center, I was arrested in class for 4 violations of an order of protection, all of which are felony charges. And at 2.5 years clean, I found myself staring down the barrel of a 7.5-year prison sentence that I thought I had dodged. And I was engaged to be married. I had a family. I had a wedding that had been planned. And eventually what I ended up finding out was I was going to spend the next 6 months in jail as part of a plea bargain. And trying to figure out how I got there, at 2.5 years clean. I thought that once I stopped using, I'd stop going to jail, but that didn't. I'm not the addict that can say that. There's a lot of them that can, but I'm not. I will say that doing the right thing does have its benefits. I went through all of this. I ended up taking a 6-month plea bargain, but what no one had looked into was because I had done so much time on this charge already from like 3.5 years ago, that like by the time I got into the jail, I had 4 days left to do with good time. So I thought I was going in to do 6 months. I ended up doing 36 hours and I was released. So, there's some ancillary benefits to it.
In the last few moments, talk about what your message would be to someone that's watching, someone out there that's still sick and suffering, what would your message be as a person in recovery?
Don't quit. Don't quit on yourself. I did, and I was lucky enough to not have people that were willing to quit on me. And I ended up getting help anyway, despite my best efforts. But if you think that it's hopeless, if you think that you can't get off of the corner, if you think that you're stuck in whatever situation is you're stuck in, whether it be domestic, economic, physiological or psychological, anybody who is constitutionally capable of being honest with themselves can be in recovery and can experience a life change beyond anything that they are probably giving themselves credit for. All you have to do is stop using and stop taking your own advice.